Escaping the context trap. 18 tactical hacks to 5x your Claude Code session longevity without upgrading your plan. Here's the math behind the drain. One developer tracked 100+ message chat and found that 98.5% of all tokens were spent just rereading old chat history. That's because Claude rereads the entire conversation from the beginning, on every single turn. Your cost isn't adding, it's multiplying. By message 30, a single turn costs 15,500 tokens, and the cumulative total hits around 250,000 tokens. Every message you send automatically reloads hidden overhead. Below the visible payload of your prompt and direct files sits an invisible layer, claude.md, connected MCP servers, system tools, your full chat history, custom agents, and cached memory. And there's a hidden cost to all of it. When context gets bloated, Claude tends to ignore information buried in the middle of the session. You end up paying more for worse output. Level 1, Terminal Telemetry. You cannot optimize what you cannot see. Stop flying blind by establishing a permanent visibility loop. Run context to reveal invisible file and tool overhead. Run /cost to track your actual usage against estimated spend. Inject a custom status line to maintain a real-time progress bar of your token limit. And keep the Anthropic usage dashboard open in a side tab. Now let's talk behavioral context hygiene. The wasteful workflow looks like this. You send a prompt, the AI runs blind, it hits an error, you send a new follow-up, and your context bloats permanently. The optimized workflow flips that. Use plan mode, let the AI ask clarifying questions, batch your instructions into a single prompt, watch the AI execute, and if something goes wrong, edit your original prompt instead of appending a correction. 4 rules matter most. Use plan mode with a 95% confidence rule. Edit, don't append. Watch it work, and halt bad loops immediately, since 80% of loop tokens produce 0 value. And run /clear often, because fresh chats are exponentially cheaper. Here's the MCP context tax. Disconnect MCP servers at the start of every session unless they're strictly necessary, and favor native command line tools instead. An MCP server like the Google Workspace MCP loads all of its tool definitions into context permanently, costing around 18,000 invisible tokens per message. A CLI integration like the G-Cloud CLI is triggered on demand through terminal execution, so its context cost is near 0, since only the output gets read. Level 2, the index routing model. Claude auto-reads Claude.md at the start of every chat, so treat it as a lean directory, not a dumping ground. A bloated Claude.md, over 1,000 lines long, gets injected into every single message. Be surgical. Instead of saying find a bug in my repo, say check verify user in auth.js. Use the file name syntax to strictly constrain what Claude reads, and paste only the broken function, never the whole file. Watch out for cache timeouts and remember to compact manually. During an active session, you get cheap cached prompting. But if you step away for more than 5 minutes, the cache times out and your next message pays the full reprocessing cost, over 100,000 tokens. Run compact or clear before you step away to avoid a massive reprocessing spike. And don't wait for automatic compaction at 95%, since quality has already degraded by then. Manually run compact around 60% capacity and cap yourself at 3 to 4 compacts before a hard reset. Watch out for blocking command output bloat. When Claude runs shell commands, the entire unedited output gets dumped straight into your active context window. A simple command that returns 200 commits or an overly verbose test suite acts like an invisible token bomb. Be intentional about permissions. Deny shell commands in specific projects when they aren't strictly necessary, or enforce piped output, like piping into head-n20. Level 3, the Model Deployment Matrix. Stop defaulting to your most expensive model for every task, and segment your architecture instead. Sonnet is the default, your baseline workhorse for 80% of all coding tasks. Haiku is the sub-agent, extremely fast and cheap. Ideal for data formatting, summaries, and sub-agent delegation. Opus is the architect, reserved strictly for deep architectural planning and complex logic, and you should keep its usage under 20%. And a specialized reviewer model is best used as an official plugin for massive codebase reviews and audits. Understand the economics of sub-agents. A standard session with a single main agent runs at a 1x cost multiplier. But sub-agent orchestration is a different story. Agent workflows consume roughly 7 to 10 times more tokens than a standard single-agent session because every spawn instance has to reload all its files, tools, and context from scratch. So the rule is simple: use sub-agents sparingly. When you do, force one-off tasks like massive file research to spawn in Haiku and summarize only the key insights back to your main session. Consider a temporal execution strategy. Anthropic scales session limits dynamically based on global demand. During peak hours, roughly 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern, your limit drains faster. Off-peak hours give you extended allocation. So schedule massive refactors, full repo scans, and multi-agent teams exclusively for off-peak hours to stretch your token budget further. And if you're near a temporal reset with allocation left over, launch your heavy tasks right before the clock rolls over to maximize your leverage. Treat your claude.md as a living constitution, an applied learning loop. It's a source of truth that should make every future prompt shorter. Save decisions, not conversations. The loop runs like this. Something fails, you find a resolution or workaround, you codify it as a strict bullet point under 15 words with no explanation, and that optimization makes your next session permanently cheaper. Only add things that actually save time in future sessions. So, rethink the limit. Hitting the limit means you are a true power user. The people pacing their sessions perfectly are often the ones leaving productivity on the table. If you've implemented context hygiene and you still hit your limit, that's not a failure, it's proof of extreme leverage. It is not a limits problem. It is a context hygiene problem. Here's the full context hygiene master matrix. Tier 1 covers terminal and habits, checking context and cost, a terminal status line, keeping your usage dashboard open, disconnecting MCPs in favor of CLI, clearing between tasks, batching instructions, editing instead of following up, enforcing plan mode, and watching for bad loops. Tier 2 covers environment hygiene, a lean claude.md under 200 lines, precise file pasting, surgical at file name targeting, manual compacting at 60%, watching for cache timeouts, and denying command output bloat. Tier 3 covers architecture, model delegation across Sonnet, Opus, Haiku, and a reviewer model, off-peak scheduling, using Haiku for sub-agents, and a self-updating applied learning loop. Put all 19 together, and you're not just saving tokens. You're operating at maximum leverage.